This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, Dunedin social service agencies say people are increasingly living in overcrowded houses and struggling to live in the city. Champion wool handler Joel Hinare won his 11th national title at the Otago Shares in Balclutha at the weekend. And skateboarders from Wanaka are set to head to Bowlzilla in Wellington to take on the competition. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Sophie Morris. One of Dunedin's leading social service agencies says people are increasingly living in overcrowded houses and struggling to find accommodation in the city. And the housing crisis is only expected to worsen as the gap between those who can afford the skyrocketing rental prices and those who can't grows.
Not everyone is benefiting from Dunedin's current housing boom. Many renters are facing rent hikes or having to cram into already overcrowded properties as values in the city soar. The Salvation Army is one of the agencies tackling poverty at the coalface, and Community Ministries manager David McKenzie says housing is the biggest issue facing the southern city.
The incredible pressure there is on Dunedin housing, the rise in house prices. We have organisations coming into the city associated with the hospital rebuild that are renting up everything they can get hold of.
Mackenzie knows of one situation where 8 people have squeezed into a 3-bedroom house. He says overcrowding is becoming more and more common, and it's the most vulnerable who are suffering as incomes are squeezed.
Things still like child poverty, right at the bottom end, we're still not really seeing a shift.
The Salvation Army's just released its State of the Nation report, and part of Mackenzie's job is pushing for action on Dunedin's housing supply at a central government level.
The whole of New Zealand saying we want to do something about this. And you know, I would say personally the housing and child poverty are 2 really big things that we can make a difference as a nation.
His concerns are shared by the Dunedin Budget Advisory Service. Andrew Henderson agrees skyrocketing rents are already hurting low-income families.
Housing absolutely is affecting people, so there is a few things driving that, I think. So there's the increased sales of rental properties, so there's less stock in the city, but there is an increase in demand, so there seems to be more people coming into the city, whether that's from Auckland, maybe from central Otago, where it's really expensive to live now.
Henderson says the Budget Advisory Service is the busiest it's ever been.
In an average year we would have around 700 people come through our doors, and at any one time we're working with about 250 individuals and families.
Mackenzie says the rebuild of Dunedin Hospital will only exacerbate the problem, increasing demand on an already limited housing stock. Both the Dunedin City Council and the government have made housing a priority, but the city's property market shows no signs of slowing down as the city's housing values have passed Christchurch for the first time this year. In Dunedin, the South Today.
While there was general praise for Queen's Dunedin performance on Monday night, some have said they left early because of poor sound quality. There have been complaints on social media about the sound, especially from those seated in the Spate stand. Some said the sound improved after the first 5 songs, and others said they were able to move to spots where the sound was better. Dunedin City Councillor and former acoustics expert Lee Vandervis says the venue failed to control the echo, bursts of severe feedback and harsh sibilance. Queen guitarist Brian May said on social media the stadium was a wondrous building, if a little challenging acoustically. A Dunedin venue spokeswoman says the number of complaints was minimal and they had received an overwhelmingly positive response. Champion wool handler Joel Hinare won his 11th national title at the Otago Shares in Balclutha at the weekend. It was the 50th anniversary of the New Zealand Open Wool Handling Championships, with a good crowd coming to watch shearing and wool handling experts vie for the top prizes.
The New Zealand Open Ball Handling Championships in Balclutha on Saturday saw Joel Henare notch up his 11th title against a strong field. This is the first year the event has been held as a one-day show, and Shear's chairman Bruce Walker says the compressed event schedule has proved successful.
Because we haven't having breaks during the days, and it's kept the crowd in. We've been rolling all the time, so it has helped to keep the people interested in what's happening around the Shear.
One dampener on the day was a drop in competitors, which may have been in part due to the clean-up work on farms after last week's floods.
Wool handling down a wee bit on what we expected. We had 24 booked in, but only 17 turned up, which is a wee bit disappointing.
While the quality of entrants for both shearing and wool handling was high, he says dwindling numbers of competitors is a nationwide problem.
It's just a sign of the times that we don't get the same competitors that we used to.
Pagan Karauria of Alexandra came second in the wool handling championship, and the open shearing event was won by Leon Samuels of Invercargill, followed closely by fellow Southlanders Nathan Stratford of Invercargill and last year's champion Brett Roberts from Mataura. In Balclutha, the South Today.
The potentially dangerous chemical being stored in the former Mataura paper mill will not be moved anytime soon after a deal to move the dross was turned down. Almost 10,000 tonnes of waste from the Bluff aluminium smelter was dumped at the site in 2014. When wet, it's capable of generating ammonia gas, which could harm humans and the environment. Water floods last week sparked fears the waste could become saturated and hazardous. A handshake deal was made with concerned parties last week, but the Rio Tinto board have turned it down. Gore Chief Executive Stephen Parry says he is devastated that Rio Tinto's bosses have reneged on the deal. Two Wanaka skateboarders are getting ready to compete at a national event in Wellington next month. The duo have been lucky enough to hone their skills on the only full vert ramp in the South Island.
There might be 20 years between them, but next month, two Wanaka skateboarders will go head-to-head on the national stage. At 32, Chris Curran has a few years' experience on fellow skater 12-year-old Zayden Fallows, but both are hoping to shred at Wellington's Bowlzilla in 4 weeks' time.
So Bowlzilla, it's the National Park and Bowl Skateboarding Championships. It's an annual event that's run. It's probably the biggest park and bowl skateboarding competition in New Zealand.
As well as competing against each other, Zayden will skate against some of the best youth skateboarders in New Zealand.
He will be skating the under-16s, which is limited to anybody under 16, but with skateboarding it's actually more of an open competition, so we actually can skate against anybody.
The 12-year-old has been skating for 6 years already and has impressed at other national competitions, and hopes having the only full vert ramp in the South Island in his backyard will give him an edge.
So this is the vert ramp. It's 14 foot high, 10 sheets wide. It's the only vert ramp in the South Island at the moment. It's very big. Took about a year to build. It's in my backyard.
While for some, flying through the air 14 feet off the ground doesn't sound like a great time, for Zayden, that's the whole point.
I get a big adrenaline rush every time I roll down something big. Yeah, and it's just pretty awesome overall.
More than 50 skaters will test their skills at Wellington's Bowlzilla in front of an expected crowd of about 3,000 fans. In Wanaka, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. We get an update on the Milford Road, and a group of classic cars make a trek across the South Island.
Lana Castle is proud to showcase their new retail space. Simply purchase an annual garden pass for year-round access to the garden, cafe and gift shop, or apply for a host card giving you full access to the castle, ballroom, cafe, gift shop and garden when accompanied by a full paying guest. Check out the website for full terms and conditions.
reason every season we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489-2274. If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chin.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
Welcome back. The Milford Road accessing Milford Sound via State Highway 94 should be open for essential services by the weekend. Following last Tuesday's floods, dramatic washouts closed the road. 1 week on, a single-lane four-wheel drive route was opened yesterday. The New Zealand Transport Agency says it will also look into allowing tourist buses through in the days ahead. However, they say a huge amount of construction work will be needed to restore the road to a two-lane sealed highway. Some operators are flying people into Milford Sound from Te Anau and Queenstown. A group of classic Austin 7 cars made a trek across the South Island last week. The South Today met up with a contingent at Makaroa near Wanaka.
Last week, Robert Trompeter's little white 1935 Austin 7 replica was just one of several Austins travelling sedately on the southern highways. Their journey started in Dunedin, taking them through Danzies and Arthur's Pass over to the west coast. Unfortunately, while on the coast, Trompeter's engine started sounding a wee bit harsh.
On a Sunday, after the bit of a look around Hokitika, we left just after lunch. And it got harsher and harsher, and by Franz Joseph I decided I wasn't going to drive it any further. So fortunately the backup vehicle was quite happy to give me a tow, and it's all gone really smooth and there's not a lot of traffic on the road, so we managed to tow quite safely.
Trompeter built this replica out of old parts about 40 years ago, and he's been taking it out on regular road trips ever since.
So yeah, we've managed to drive everywhere in its sort of style, you know, Christchurch a couple of times, swap meets up to Coronet Peak and to Skippers, and down south to Invercargill for rallies, and yeah, pretty much anywhere around the South Islands.
Austin 7s typically come with a 700cc engine, meaning the vehicles are not exactly fast on the hills.
You got a 4-speed gearbox, so you just keep going lower and lower until it decides to continue going. So yeah, quite often, and say coming out of the Haas Bridge there, you might be lucky if you can get up in second. Maybe on a bad day you might be in first, you know. But that's what it's all about.
For Trompeta, a road trip in an old Austin is quite different to touring in a modern vehicle.
It's strange. I mean, it's quite noisy and maybe a wee bit rattly, but it's quite a pleasant way of just quietly driving along the country and seeing the countryside. You're going slow enough to see everything, you know, and you stop often enough to have a cuppa or talk with the locals, and people are always coming up to you to ask about your car or tell you that I've already had one in the family years ago.
Once back home in Dunedin, he's planning to investigate what's wrong with the engine. In Makarora, the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, the White Ferns gear up to take on South Africa at the University of Otago Oval tomorrow, and we check out tomorrow's weather.
Every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Lana Castle is proud to showcase their new retail space. Simply purchase an annual garden pass for year-round access to the garden, cafe and gift shop, or apply for a host card giving you full access to the castle, ballroom, cafe, gift shop and garden when accompanied by a full paying guest. Check out the website for full terms and conditions.
Step into Shop on Carrot and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life. When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489 2274.
Welcome back. 21 years after they last played in Dunedin, the New Zealand women's cricket team will take on South Africa at the University of Otago Oval tomorrow. For two veteran members of the White Ferns squad, the match has been a long time coming.
It's been 21 years since the New Zealand women's cricket team has played in front of a Dunedin crowd. And for Otago veterans Susie Bates and Katie Martin, when the White Ferns take on South Africa at the University of Otago Oval tomorrow, it will be the first time they've represented their country in front of a home crowd.
Yeah, it's really exciting. It feels like home being here today at training, and it's going to probably be a bit of an emotional time for Susie and I tomorrow, but we're really excited to get out here with the White Ferns, our first game, international game here in about 20 odd years, so the girls are real fizzing for it, and it's extra exciting for us.
Bates, who alone has played more than 200 international matches for New Zealand, was looking forward to having her friends and family on the boundary cheering her on.
I'll definitely have my mum, dad and sister who live in Dunedin, so hopefully they can get some time off work to come along, but they'll be here at some stage. I'm not sure if the dog Murphy will be able to get in tomorrow, but some of friends, Sarah Sukigawa who's commentating, and just people that I've had in my cricket career hopefully will come down for their first opportunity to see the White Ferns live.
Both players have also been an integral part of the Otago Sparks cricket team, and many of their Spark teammates will also be there cheering them on.
We've got a few Otago Sparks that have said they'll come along as well, so we're really excited to be able to walk out with the fern on and see our family and friends out there. Is going to be a pretty cool occasion.
After tomorrow's game, the White Ferns will travel to Melbourne on Friday for the 2020 World Cup. In Dunedin, the South today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today.
Tonight's weather.
Dunedin Social Service Agency say people are increasingly living in overcrowded houses and struggling to live in the city. Champion wool handler Joel Henare won his 11th national title at the Otago Shares in Balclutha at the weekend, proving he's a cut above the rest. And skateboarders from Wanaka are set to head to Bowlzilla in Wellington to take on the competition. And time now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Hayden.
Hi Sophie, how are you?
Good, yourself?
Good. It's been a good story day actually, a lot of good stories coming in today. Right. We started in Matilda, so sort of flooding follow-up, a lot of very angry people in Matilda. The Rio Tinto, which of course owns TY aluminium smelter, has pulled out of this verbal deal to move this toxic chemical waste in the old paper mill, the premix, 10,000 tonnes of it. There's an awful lot. So the mayor down there extremely angry, and they're wondering what's going to happen now. So a huge issue for the local people down there, who are obviously very concerned about this premix and want to get it out of there. Closer to home in Dunedin, we've got an amazing story really. A woman hit by a falling branch off a tree last month during the wild weather in Dunedin. She tells her story for the first time. She fractured a couple of vertebrae in her back, and she basically credits the laptop. She was wearing a laptop case over her shoulder, and that took the brunt of the blow from the branch. So quite an amazing story.
Wow.
As we've seen on the news, the Women's Cricket International tomorrow, which is great. 21 years to the day since they were last here, and a very young, fresh-faced Hayden Meikle covered that game. But that's, it's great. Susie Bates and Katie Martin finally getting to play in Dunedin. They're two special cricketers, and hopefully the weather holds off and people get down there for a bit of a look at the cricket, so that should be good. And finally, a really interesting court story. I mean, Rob Kidd digs out lots of good court stories, but this one's great. A young drink driver avoiding conviction, thanks to a judge sort of taking leniency on him because the young fellow composed a song about his experience. He's a bit of a music student, and the judge was so impressed he discharged him without conviction. So you never know what's going to happen in the courts.
Interesting. Well, thank you, Hayden. All of that and more in tomorrow's ODT. And time now for a look at tomorrow's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Starting with the southern view, overlooking Dunedin from the BMX track at Forrester Park. Looking at the situation, a colder couple of days ahead as an incoming anticyclone drives air from deep in the Southern Ocean onto the region, with plenty of cloud about the coast and a few showers at times. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport are looking at cloudy skies with 19 degrees. Across to the northeast, Nelson and Blenheim can expect a cloud or two on an otherwise blue sky and 27 degrees. Moving to Canterbury, Kaikoura has clouds and 21 degrees, Christchurch and Ashburton have clouds and 23 degrees. To the southern towns, the Catlins, Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore are all set for moderate southeasterlies, showers and 14 degrees. Heading to central Otago, Wanaka is set for light winds, a few showers and 16 degrees, while Queenstown and Alexandra should reach 15. Te Anau heads for 14 with moderate southeasterlies and showers clearing. To the northern towns, on the coast, Timaru and Oamaru are due to have moderate southerlies and showers, 18 for Timaru and 16 for Oamaru. Looking inland, Twizel and Omarama are due for light winds, cloudy skies and 20 degrees. In Dunedin, cloudy tonight with light winds and an overnight low of 14. Overcast tomorrow with some light showers developing during the morning with colder southwesterlies freshening, then becoming dry in the afternoon with winds slowly easing. A high of 15 and a low of 10. Cloudy and cold on Friday with light northeasterlies developing, a high of 13 and a low of 10. And in Invercargill, showers tonight with cold southerlies with an overnight low of 12 degrees. Showers clearing during the day tomorrow, but skies remaining cloudy, cold with moderate southeasterlies, a high of 14 and a low of 9. Becoming fine and sunny on Friday with light winds, cool temperatures, a high of 15 and a low of 9. That's all for our news this Wednesday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.